Should the Second Amendment exist in America today? That really is the question, and the short answer to that question is absolutely 100% yes. But why? Well, we'll talk about that today. Recently, I've seen a lot of people ask if that language in the Second Amendment is antiquated, is it still needed today, is it applicable today? So let's take a step back. What is the Second Amendment? What does it actually say? Well, the Second Amendment actually states a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. But why? Why would these people 200 plus years ago write that language into our founding documents? I think I have an idea. Part of that would be because we had just gotten finished fighting a war against the world's greatest superpower. And in that, a bunch of farmers used their firearms to beat that superpower and found the nation that many of us live in today. In 1989, a book came out called A Right to Bear Arms, and it gave a really cool snapshot of what was happening in pre-United States America during that time. And essentially in 1768, the Boston Gazette reported, long story short, not to make this a history lesson, essentially you would have picked up that Boston Gazette and read that the British ministry had said that, hey, we're taking your firearms away from you. By 1774, as the temperature was starting to rise in early colonies, there were regular warrantless searches and seizures of those firearms. By 1774, as temperature started to rise in the Boston area specifically, there would have been countless warrantless searches and seizures of firearms from these early Americans. There were two things that really upset these Americans during that time when it came to this issue. One, taking their firearms. Number two would be to arrest those early patriot leaders of the day. You see, the idea behind the Second Amendment can cause a lot of people to get very emotional because it's a firearm, it's life, and in the United States today, it impacts the lives of our children. One myth I kind of want to dispel is that nobody wants children to die. Most people who are Second Amendment advocates like myself, or almost look at it as an apologetics for the Second Amendment, the only thing that we really want is to have a serious conversation about a nuanced issue. No firearm that I have ever owned has gotten up, walked down the street, and shot somebody. So with that being a fact, we have to really dive into the issue to see how we can resolve it without removing firearms from law-abiding citizens. Now, as a law-abiding citizen in the United States, I would encourage you to buy a firearm. I would encourage you to buy a firearm, learn gun safety, teach your children about gun safety, just so if they're around the firearm and you're not there, they can identify when it's being unsafe. When we start to have that conversation, we can really start talking about how can we save lives. That would be a place to start. You see, the Second Amendment isn't just about people being fanatic gun nuts. I'll share with you myself. When I started to really understand and get into firearms, it was because I realized I had people to take care of. I had people to keep safe. I was not only their provider, but I was their protector. And there was no way that I was gonna not let there be a level, equal fight. You see, that's what a firearm truly is. All a firearm is a force multiplier. It allows you to level the playing field. As we look at the revolution, it allowed those farmers that I was talking about, it allowed them to level the battlefield. So, the question, should the Second Amendment exist in America today? Again, I will remind you, 100%, absolutely, yes. It allows you to protect yourself. It allows you to protect your family. It allows you to get back home to your family. So if you're an American, I would encourage you to go and actually buy a firearm. Learn about that firearm. Go to some classes to understand how to safely handle that firearm. Teach your children gun safety. Help them identify when somebody's not being safe with a firearm, because there are a lot of firearms in the United States. We have to have a serious conversation and remove our emotions from the idea of a firearm, from the idea of a gun. Again, that gun is not going to harm anybody if there's not an operator behind it. So again, as an American, I would encourage you to own a firearm, learn how to use it, teach gun safety to your children, and remain free. If you like videos like this, if you like this type of content, there are a ton of gun channels on YouTube. That's not necessarily what this is. Will we talk about firearms? Absolutely. Will we talk about everyday carry? Absolutely. I want to be able to equip you and educate you to remove the mystique around owning and possessing a firearm as an American. It's your right. It's a right that is God-given or natural. It's enshrined in our Constitution. So if you like videos like this, if you like this type of content, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, get this video pushed in the algorithm. And until next time, live free.